We've got NBA scores from yesterday, MLB news and signings, and NFL Conference Championship weekend results right here on Sports Cubed. And we are live, episode 3, season 2 of Sports Cube.
Yes, sir.
I'm always Kyler Gammon.
Branton Beard.
Eli Grimes.
The crew, the trio, baby, the Three Musketeers every week. So just starting off, make sure you follow us on our Spotify, follow us on Instagram, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Post content every week, listening every week. We want to be a man or men of the people. So, you know, we
aim
just
to please. We aim to please.
Exactly, man. We just got to please everybody. So at least try to anyway, unless you're a Cowboys fan. But anyway, no. In all seriousness, in all seriousness, though, we love doing this every week. It's so fun. I can't, you know.
It's a great time every week.
Every week. I mean, there's something either funny or something that happens on Sunday that we predict. It's a great time.
Always something going on.
Always something's going on in the sports world, unless Corona hits. So we'll start off with the NBA scores from last night. We had the Clippers and Hawks play. We had the Wizards and Rockets. We also had the Knicks and the Jazz. So I'll start off with the Clippers and the Hawks. The Hawks win this one 108-99 against the Clippers. Clippers are actually 13-5 on the year, looking pretty good for the roster that they have. And speaking of the Clippers, their top scorer, Reggie Jackson, he was 8 for 16, had 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists on the night. While Trae Young, being the best Hawks player on the court, he was 12 for 23. He had 38 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. And you know, Trae Young does what Trae Young does. I mean, he just scores and he just leads the Hawks, to a victory, if I can speak. But I think what's really impressive, and I really did not know this, and I really did not catch on, was the Clippers are 13-5, and they're 5-3 on the road. That's really solid.
Sneakily, they're right back in there, you know.
And
back in the West.
It was a much needed win as well for the Hawks to get back in the winning column against the Clippers here and move above 500.
Yeah, I mean, you always want to be above 500. You never want to be average, unless you're the Chicago Bears.
Okay. We'll get into that later on.
Sorry, Eli. But, you know, hey, great win for them, especially. And what's even more impressive about the Clippers is that they don't, you know, Doc Rivers left for Philadelphia, the Sixers. So, I mean, and they're balling without, you know, losing a head coach and a whole new pretty much organization. It's really impressive to see. I say if they get a couple good draft picks, they'll be solid in the coming years. So we'll move on to the Wizards and Rockets game. It's very interesting with the whole trades on the Wizards. The Wizards are struggling this year. I mean, bad. I mean, they're 3-10, and they're 2-5 on the road. And the Rockets last night won this one 107-88. And Russell Westbrook went 7 for 17, 19 points, 11 rebounds, so I had a double-double. But he also had 7 assists. And Bradley Beal, who's been one of the bright spots of this Wizards team, he went 12 for 28, 33 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. So, you know, I mean, you kind of pick your poison, but they are on. Russell Westbrook just seemed like he's not what he used to be in Oklahoma City, and Bradley Beal is kind of becoming the new emerging star, I think.
Yeah, and they need him after losing James Harden to that trade. They're definitely needing a new centerpiece with that roster.
Exactly. And so you're looking at the Rockets now, who won, like I said, they won 107-88 last night. John Wall looking pretty good. I know my man Drew back there loves John Wall. He went 9 for 21. He had 24 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists, so pretty average for John Wall. And then Victor Oladipo had a really nice game. He was 7 for 21, 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. So having that 1-2 punch with Wall and Oladipo, you could honestly make the case if the Nets struggle. I think the Rockets may have won this trade.
Honestly.
Right.
I mean, acquiring Victor Oladipo, looking at this,
is sleepily like one of the most underrated players in the NBA. He's just an
very
all-around. He's a great teammate. He's a great athlete.
And I mean, he did great with the Pacers. I mean, there hasn't really been, I mean, whenever he's with the Magic, obviously he's a rookie, he's new. But once he got in the NBA and in the system, he's been great.
When a guy goes through an injury like that with his ACL, most of the time you ask the question, can a player bounce back from injury like that? And he really has. He has not struggled that bad.
Well, if you're looking at another sport, the same person who tore his ACL happens to be our quarterback, and we don't know if I can bounce back. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. Sorry. And then the final game, the Jazz beat the Knicks 108-94.
Not surprised Knicks lose.
Poor Knicks fans,
But
man.
at halftime, the Knicks were actually winning this game by a great margin.
Yay, give it up for them.
But then, that's what happens when you play your starters in the first half. They just get gassed so bad,
Exactly.
and the Jazz showed that they were the better team.
Well, and the Knicks they have for years, and it's especially after you trade Kristaps. I mean, they really just need a solid piece. You know what I'm saying? Like a solid one, at least a one guy.
Yeah. They don't have anyone to build around.
No, exactly. And so, like their Topin, I think.
Topin?
He didn't really have a great game at all last night, and that's like your first round pick. And I understand he's a rookie, but you need to find that one guy,
right?
That stud.
The only argument you can make for that team, for that guy, would be Julius Randle, and that's about the only player on that team that I can see.
I think
maybe
Julius
being in that
Randle's been pretty underrated too.
Yeah,
he
Right.
kind of had a slow start, and then once he got the chance, he's been pretty good.
He's a bright spot on that team. There's not many bright spots on that team.
No.
He's one of them.
But I think the highlight of the night, and even though, I think there's two things here. Number one is the Jazz can win without Donovan Mitchell performing. Donovan Mitchell was 3 for 15, 9 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists.
Right.
Not a very good night for him. Probably a really bad night for Donovan Mitchell. And so, but the bright spot is Austin Rivers. He was 10 for 14, 25 points, 3 rebounds, and assists. And I saw a highlight on SportsCenter's Instagram that he went off, I think, at one point in this game. So I guess kind of could be a one-game wonder like Tyler Harrell last year. Sorry, had to go there. I'm sorry. I couldn't buy into the hype. I couldn't buy into the hype. But hey,
There's 13-4.
I mean, the Jazz are 6-2 at home. It's the Knicks.
You can't say much about the win there until they impress against someone else.
Yeah. Yes, or make it to the postseason. So I'll swing. I'll no pun intended. Swing to MLB now. Michael Brantley. This was very, very interesting. Originally, reports came out that him and the Blue Jays were getting close to a deal, pairing up with his teammate George Springer. And then all of a sudden, from about 9 to 11 a.m., that report was going on. And after that, nope. He went back to the Astros. The Blue Jays kind of got played there, in my opinion. But he went back to the Astros on a 2-year, $32 million deal. And it's interesting because I think if the Blue Jays do sign him there, and we'll get to another signing here in a little bit, but I think that they just be all in. Like, hey, we're all in or bust. Don't care about the contracts. We're just going to go right in. I mean, kind of similar to what the Chiefs are doing now, to be honest, in the NFL realm.
You get as much success as you can with the roster you have
while
you can.
Yes.
Don't worry about cap. You worry about success and victory.
Yes, because at the end of the day, that's what obviously matters in sports. So, but hey, I guess Michael Brantley, I guess after George Springer left, I guess he can kind of be one of the few more bright spots on the Astros team. I don't know if they can go back. I don't know. I think that the Astros are on the downhill. I'm sorry.
Never gets old.
Never gets old. But then, just going up to the Blue Jays side, they just signed Marcus Semien to a 1-year, $18 million contract. Like I said, they seem like they are just like, hey, come on, just come to the Blue Jays. They're literally all in or bust. They're signing everywhere, it seems like. And what's interesting is that Marcus Semien, he originally played shortstop in Oakland, and now he's going to play second base. And their second baseman now is Kevin Biggio, and he's kind of a raw, young talent. He's shown flashes, but nothing really consistent. And so I think this is a really great move because if you look at their whole starting lineup, the one spot that's kind of like it was Kevin Biggio, maybe excluding I was about to say their left field, but not really. But I think Kevin Biggio was kind of like that. Okay, he's still kind of raw. He's still kind of a project. But I think right away the Blue Jays are like, hey, we want to win now. And we need a piece now. Marcus Semien's been really great for the A's. He's been really solid there. I'm just excited what the Blue Jays are going to do. My personal opinion, I think that they're going to take the AL East by storm.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's going to be a great
over the Yankees, over the Red Sox. Like, if the Red Sox,
they've got the talent.
Yeah,
Only
exactly.
only 1 month till training camp.
Man, I don't care what sport it is. I just want to.
Oh, yeah.
I just.
Oh, yeah.
If it's there after experiencing the 2020 season that we had with no sports, that was awful.
It really
that was awful. There's nothing to
We've
watch.
learned to definitely appreciate no matter what it is. I'll watch golf. I'll sit down and watch golf.
Better than
all day.
cherry spitting. You guys watched cherry spitting on ESPN during the lockdown? Oh, that was awful.
Oh man,
I watched lots of cornhole. Lots of cornhole bowling.
that's all we can watch.
Yeah.
But man, that was a weird time.
Yes,
that
it was.
very weird. I mean, everything shut down. I mean, because we were right in the middle of spring training for
Yeah.
MLB, and there it goes. It was. If there's one thing that I will always be thankful. I remember I was so excited that I was watching Korean baseball, okay? Korean baseball. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, well, let's
Conference championship time.
I was about to make another pun, but I couldn't think of one. Maybe let's catch some of the NFL news here.
Yeah.
I'll be here.
I'll be here all night.
He's here.
Bruce, man. But anyway, so NFL Conference Championship weekend. We have our Super Bowl matchup. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm
wow.
excited.
It's going to be a good matchup.
Incredibly excited.
I've not been, and we've obviously talked about this off air, but I have not been this excited for a Super Bowl matchup, and I don't know what it is. Even last year's was kind of like, last year's I kind of figured at some point the Chiefs were going to win that game.
Yeah.
I don't know how,
Right.
but just the Niners played great, but the Packers also played bad last year in the conference championship game. So it's like I just knew somehow, some way that the Chiefs would probably win. But this, you could go either way. Like Tom Brady is Tom Brady, or Mahomes and the offense is going to ball out. Like
You've got this proven GOAT. Okay, in my opinion.
There's no
yes.
argument. He is the GOAT. He is the greatest quarterback of all time. Thank you.
I love that we've established this.
Yes.
But
I established that Super Bowl 51.
Yeah.
After I watched that, I was like, easy.
I agree. But you've got the GOAT. We've established
The
that.
GOAT,
The
period.
GOAT versus this young kid who's been,
The best young talent.
Most
Best young
flashy.
talent.
Yeah, flashy.
it's amazing. You don't know who's going to win. You really don't.
You could go either way.
When we go into the Super Bowl picks later on, I think you got to turn the tide to the Chiefs a little bit, because if we roll up the NFC Conference Championship matchup, Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions in the second half against the Packers. And what did Rodgers do? 3 and-outs. You think Mahomes isn't going to score
That's true.
on those 3 interceptions?
That's very true.
If that
But-
Chiefs defense can come out and get some interceptions, I think it's all Chiefs all the way.
But at the same time, you also look at it. I know one of the interceptions for Brady. And some of them, now granted, there was some of them that was his fault, but others it really wasn't his fault. Like just like the one interception, it went off of Mike Evans' hands. Mike Evans has got to catch that. I mean, nonetheless, on the stat sheet, it's an interception, but honestly, they just shot themselves in the foot there. But I mean, it's gonna be interesting because I don't think the Chiefs' corners are really. I mean, all of that. I think that the receivers of the Bucs can have success against the Chiefs. I mean, I think the corners in Green Bay, except if you're Kevin King, I think the corners in Green Bay were phenomenal. Besides Kevin King, and mind you, draw that line. Besides Kevin King, like I said, Jair Alexander had 2 picks. And
Yeah,
Tom
we'll
Brady
go ahead and
still
pull up the NFC Conference Championship.
won. If you can, Drew.
Right here. We're looking at a 26-31 score in favor of the Buccaneers. As like we said, they will be moving on to the Super Bowl. But really, what you look at here, look at the rushing totals between the two teams. You look at the Packers side; their biggest rusher was 27 yards, whereas how the Buccaneers were able to get 55 yards out of Leonard Fournette, who they really have moved to in the running game on top of Ronald Jones.
Yes.
And Leonard Fournette had that touchdown run was phenomenal.
That was an amazing
nasty.
run.
That was nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the Leonard Fournette that everybody wanted Jacksonville to get coming out of the draft.
Right.
I think I saw a stat somewhere during that run. As soon as he was made contact with, he had a 0.4% chance to score on that play.
That
It
is
was
phenomenal.
crazy.
I mean,
got
the
in there.
spin move, I watched that live,
Yes.
and I went nuts.
That's what you need from a running back. Someone who can break tackles, is fast, and just powers through, you know what I mean?
And one thing is, like, because I'm kind of alluding to this because of what he said today. I don't know. Does Scotty Miller just kind of seem like not like weird, but like just like, huh? Like kind of like out of nowhere. I never heard of him.
I've liked Scotty Miller all season. He looks like that quick slot guy that you're going to use a lot in the passing game.
He really reminds me of like an Amendola. Like really,
right, yeah, I can see that. But once they got Antonio Brown, he was nowhere. And now that Brown's out.
True. I mean, that is true. Brown was out. Now is Brown going to play?
He'll be back. Him and Bill will be back for the Super Bowl.
Him and Bill.
Rip.
The Killer Bees, baby.
Oh, my gosh, Killer Bees. But looking at that, Brady will be able to find a target. He has plenty of targets. It's just going to come down to will he be able to keep the ball to his own teams? Because obviously he threw a duck last game for 3 interceptions.
One thing I've known about Tom Brady is unless he is playing Nick Foles or Eli Manning.
But we haven't seen a Super Bowl. We haven't seen a Super Bowl versus Mahomes. We've seen a conference championship where Frank Clark line up both sides or they win. But it's going to come down to the wire.
That's very true. But, I mean, that's also a way different team. I mean, you're talking about the Patriots. It's just it's two different atmospheres. Plus, first team to go to the Super Bowl on their home stadium. Home field advantage, baby.
The stars have aligned for Tom Brady.
I mean, this is Tom Brady's game to win. I'm sorry. I love the Chiefs. But like I said,
I totally agree. You
could look at this game so many different ways. Like, I just hope it's going to be a shootout. I hope that, I remember, I'll never forget in 2013, you had the number 1 defense in the NFL. Sorry, Ian. You had the number 1 defense in the NFL going up against the number 1 offense in the NFL, and Peyton Manning and the Broncos versus Seattle, and the Broncos got blown out. So, and I remember leading up to that, I was so excited. I was like, yes, this is going to be a great game, and it was a blowout. So I'm hoping and praying it's not like that, and I highly doubt.
I don't think it's going to get to that point because I don't think the Chiefs' defense is there. I think they have
a
ball.
Bucs,
yeah,
Bucs
defense is there. It's just going to come down to their speed on defense. Correct. But they'll have Anthony Winfield Jr. back for the Bucs. Their rookie safety, second-round pick.
Made that great play against Aaron Jones, by the way. That was a great play.
Right. And really, if they would have had him last game, it would have worked a lot better against Peoples-Jones for the Packers as he went off for 115 yards. But once again, that was a second-string receiver for the Packers that they didn't draft. If they had drafted somebody, maybe they would have had another open target in that first round.
Devontae Adams was pretty quiet, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
He was really quiet. It's interesting. It's very, very, very interesting. So I guess we can move to the AFC Championship, and sadly, Eli's Bills, excuse me.
Oh, it was
It went
tough.
down.
I really thought they were going to come out. I thought Josh Allen wanted it, and he had a pretty good game, but the Chiefs came out.
It's the Chiefs. I mean, they're the Chiefs. I mean, whenever you have 2 players on your receiving end go for over 100 yards, Tyreek Hill almost 200. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And that's one thing is like going into this is Tyreek Hill is the speedy is probably the most athletic. I'd say arguably the most athletic receiver in the NFL. I mean, is there a Buccaneers corner that can match up with that speed?
No. And you look, Tyreek Hill had almost 200 yards in the first half against the Bucs.
For the Bucs to win this game, they're going to have to play a lot of zone. You cannot play man coverage against Tyreek Hill.
You can't.
Multiple
he
teams
backflipped
tried,
into the end zone. He went
you've
backwards
seen
in
his
the
stat line.
I mean, you just can't cover both of these guys at once without well-playing man. You're going to have to go zone with these guys.
And also, too, Travis, I mean, it's like, do they have, I guess maybe like Levante David, but do you have a linebacker that can line up against Travis Kelce even in man?
Name one.
Yeah, exactly. You can't.
Because he's going to find a way to get open. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has done it time and time
again. Devin White is probably their best bet.
Devin White, he's going to have to match up on him all day. And even then, all he does is backtrack, and Mahomes throws while diving.
It's incredibly hard to guard Travis Kelce.
I am so incredibly excited.
But that's going to lead up into this Super Bowl matchup between Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady here in Tampa.
Tampa, man. Tampa, Florida have the there it is. There it is.
There's that excellent graphic made by Branton Beard.
The man himself, as always.
Never disappoints.
Never, ever disappoints. I mean, look at that. With the palm trees in the back, the
beautiful.
skyline.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Just like this game is going to be.
But look, very, very interesting here. once again, looking at Tom Brady having home field advantage in this game, will this be the first team to ever win a Super Bowl at home?
It's a great question, and I mean, if you think about it, Kansas City has the home field advantage because they're the first seed, but they really don't because, I mean, Tampa Bay is playing in their own stadium.
But
So
looking at offseason moves real quick, where will Matthew Stafford end up? Because there's a multitude of different teams that would like him, but these are teams that we think have the best chances here.
Look at that.
I would
Niners?
say
Look at that.
those two teams on the left are who need him the most. San
Colts.
Francisco, they get a quarterback, and
Colts.
they're in. Colts, they get a
That's my
quarterback,
pick.
and they're in.
Colts.
Yeah, I
That's
think
my
he's
pick.
got to go to one of those two teams. Of course, Eli's hoping he goes to the
You
Bears.
have to take into account, though, Matthew Stafford, he's never won a playoff game. He wants to succeed. He's not going to go to a team that doesn't have a chance to win.
Right.
So San Francisco is going to be right back in that NFC playoff picture this next season once they get healthy. But Indianapolis has a great defense as well with a great run.
The Colts would be the perfect spot, I think.
I would agree.
think-
I think the Colts have more weapons on offense.
The Colts, I think they need to get rid of, what's-his-face, receiver.
T.Y.
T.Y.
Hilton.
Hilton. I think they need to get rid of him, draft a couple good receivers, and they'll be right
Because
there.
they got Pittman, they got some tight ends.
Yeah, Pittman
So
really impressed me this year.
They really have a good chance to get back this year. And of course, the other signing for me at least that was good is to see what's going to happen here with Dwayne Haskins, former first-round pick of the Washington Redskins at the time. And he's on a one-year deal, $850,000, 0 guarantees. So
This
He's
is
on
prove
the
it deal.
bare
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
Bare minimum.
he was from Mike Tomlin's hometown. So if he doesn't shine, if he doesn't show out at training camp, they don't even sign with the actual roster. That's those 0 guarantees coming back to you.
So do you think? So Branton, my question to you is that let's say and this is kind of pitching a scenario here, but let's say Dwayne Haskins balls out. Okay, let's say let's just say by training camp you saw Big Ben, and now Dwayne Haskins is kind of balling out. Okay, like he's flashing the preseason if we have a preseason and stuff like that. Like, what do you do? Like, I mean, you are literally falling into an Eagles 2.0. Like, you know what I mean?
I understand that. And my thinking is at that point, his cap space is already going to be used. Because at that point, Bud Dupree will already be re-signed. Juju will be somewhere. Connor's going to be somewhere. So you cannot change the fact that they're already gone. So at that point, you stick with Ben, have him train for a year. And if he is balling out, we got a franchise quarterback, and we didn't even have to draft anybody.
That's true. That's very true. It's very interesting because it's on the mentality side of that. You know, if you can not have a Johnny Manziel-esque and party all the time and strip club, and stuff like that. Like,
How about Vince Williams already said, you don't have to worry about that in Pittsburgh, so we're all cool there.
Yeah. But it's very, 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 very interesting. It's one of those deals like where whenever I first heard the report, I was like, man, like, I think you guys might have. I just have this gut feeling in me. I think you guys might have something like really special.
It's sneaky.
Because it was just one of those deals like where it was a really bad scenario in Washington. It's like Rivera just didn't want it, so he's like, yeah, we're just gonna let you go.
Right.
And he never really had faith in him, I think, from the start.
Yeah, and Alex Smith had faith in him. He said he's a kid with lots of talent, and if that's true, let's see where this goes.
I think this is really a deal that benefits both sides too, because Washington, they're in the middle of a rebuild, and they exceeded expectations highly this year. They made it to the playoffs.
I'm
Really,
a
no one
little
expected that.
as someone who's in the NFC East. I'm a little worried for Washington in the upcoming years because that defense is nasty.
It is.
That defensive line is really, really good.
And I think Ron Rivera realizes that, and he doesn't want to take a chance on Dwayne Haskins because he's got so much at stake here.
I mean,
It's
one thing. I mean, NFL coaches can be really great NFL coaches, no matter if they get fired or if they get let go, whatever. Because you look at Andy Reid in 2013 or after the 2012 season, we let him go really just because it was time. We had he was there in 1999 all the way to 2012. It was just time for a change for everybody, and so he goes to the Chiefs. He's going to second straight Super Bowl, and same thing with Rivera. After the Super Bowl season, kind of went downhill from there. It was just time. It was just time to move on. And he went into Washington with literally nothing. Literally nothing. I mean, at the time, they barely had a running back core.
Yep.
They let go of Adrian Peterson. and Antonio Gibson's been really good for him so far. I mean, he's just
They have a very
Rivera is
bright
just
future.
a phenomenal coach.
They have so much potential to be a great team, in my opinion.
Yeah, and with that team, like you said, they got so much talent now out of nowhere. I mean, if they can get some good second-hand pieces like a second string wide receiver to go behind Terry McLaurin, I mean, are the Eagles going to be able to compete with that?
Depends on what happens. And speaking of which, last time we talked, we didn't have a coach, but now we do.
Hey.
We do. Colts offensive coordinator Nick Sirianni. I love it. I love the move. I think, the whole trade wins to Indy. I say you bring Indy to him, and
Yep.
I am really excited. It's something. It's one of those deals like where I'm really trying to put all the pieces together. I know that there's been some, is Wentz going to be on the same page as Sirianni and all that? But I think, the first thing that Sirianni did was reach out to Wentz after he got hired. That report came out. So I think that Sirianni does want. With that report alone, I think he wants Wentz. Period. I think, and I think going into it for the interview process, I think the main question of that whole interview process was, can you fix Carson Wentz? What is your plan to fix Carson Wentz? What does your staff look like to fix Carson Wentz? Because at the end of the day, I mean, we saw it whenever your quarterback struggles, your whole team struggles for Philly. I mean, that's just football related in general. So, I'm sorry, Eli, to bring out your Bears, but whenever your quarterback struggles,
Yeah, I can't.
I feel you.
I can't argue.
With quarterback play, the Steelers did sign offensive coordinator Matt Canada to be their offensive coordinator. And his system, dating back to LSU and even prior to that, his system needs a mobile quarterback. So if Dwayne Haskins can be a mobile quarterback, maybe that's why they're playing for the future. Because with his system, it's a lot of sweeps. So we saw that last year when the Steelers implemented the jet sweep into the lineup.
There's also a report today. I'm not sure if Drew's heard this yet, but there was also a report of a potential QB competition in LA. And Drew is very happy about that.
Yeah, it's the only competition.
The Rams GM did say that he is a Ram for now. So kind of hinting at maybe a potential trade. Trade for Watson, Drew, am I right?
They already got their franchise QB in the building. They got Delvin the Duck Hodges. They don't need anybody else. It's between Delvin the Duck Hodges and Jared Goff. So I'm going to thumbs up in the
I'm going to
background.
shoot you straight. That's just like me saying that J.J. Arthur-Whiteside is going to be a franchise wide receiver.
Exactly.
Ain't none of those two going to happen.
Yeah, they're both going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen.
Arcega-Whiteside's definitely going to happen.
No, he's not. He's not. But hey, here's the deal. And this is probably I'm just getting too excited. Maybe Nick Sirianni can fix Arcega-Whiteside. Maybe get him.
Exactly.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of spitballing here.
Meanwhile, the Bears have yet to do anything until the draft once again. So we're left guessing what type of team we're going to be. I predict 6-10.
I think we'll kind of go on local real quick. I think just kind of talking about some local teams too with our teams. I think the Colts, you have to sign Matt Stafford. I think that's got to be your number one.
Agree.
After that, I think you're sitting. You're in contention for at least the AFC South title at least.
Easily, yeah.
I mean, Frank Reich is such a great coach, and I knew he would be whenever he left Philly. I think with the Titans, I think it's just a bounce back year.
And they need a defense.
Maybe some regression, maybe.
I think they can make the playoffs, but I don't think they win the division. They need to fix their defense, their secondary, until they want to go anywhere.
And that's really the only two local teams. I mean, I guess Bengals, but they're Burrow second year.
He'll be exciting to watch, but I still don't think they're going to take a step forward.
Well, man, that went by quick, didn't it? So real quick, as of this week alone, my Super Bowl prediction, really, really fast. Give me Bucks over Chiefs, 31-27.
I like it.
Give me Chiefs over Bucks. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to be stopped by that defense. I'm taking Chiefs. We're going to go 35-28.
See, I really do want Tom Brady to win this game, but I feel like the Chiefs are going to go back-to-back. Give me 34-21.
All righty. And like next week, if anything changes, we can also do a final Super Bowl prediction, but that's just kind of
There's definitely a lot that can happen in 2 weeks.
So that's going to do it for the Episode 3, Season 2 edition of Sports Cubed. As always, follow us on all of our platforms, and we'll see you next week.